All right, is it working? All right, I was having a lot of trouble. Let me see if these actually work. Testing, testing. Oh, these might actually work. Hold on. If you can't tell, I am struggling right now to get this to all work because I do not use this room that often. And I feel like I can hear myself in the mic, but I don't know if that translates to the actual video. So who knows? But I'm going to sit here and pretend like anyone watching can actually hear me. So I'm going to be I'm going to look super stupid if I go to watch this back and there's like no audio because the entire time I was sitting there basically talking to myself with nothing going through. Give me a second. Unprepared, unprepared, complete L. I'm just going to put that there, whatever. Let's adjust this a little bit. Ooh. All right. Wanted to do I can like barely hear myself do this. I don't even know if this is working or not that well. How do I turn this off? Testing. Oh, that's a lot better. All right. So yeah, want to do a quick video. I've been trying to do some more live streaming and I haven't had a chance to really get to it because it hasn't been that high on my priority list. It should be, I guess, but it hasn't been. So I'm going to try to change that around and make more of a habit of live streaming and trying to get more content and things of that nature on YouTube. But so yeah, I'm not like super prepared for this one. I literally just like yesterday, last night, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, I need to do more live streams. I got to get into the habit of it. And ordinarily, if I were to do a video, like now if I do YouTube videos, I try to script it out, like semi-script what I'm gonna put out, or at least have some organization behind the content that I'm putting out. But with this, part of me has a philosophy of if I have an idea, I gotta just do it as quickly as possible to at least kind of grease the wheels, get the gear turning, so to speak. And I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go through the whole process of organizing and doing all that nonsense. I was like, fuck it, let's just go in, let's just do a live stream, and let's try to get some valuable content. Um, but you know, I wasn't gonna sit there and plan out a whole thing because, for one, if we're being honest, I don't even know if anyone's gonna watch this. So, or at least not that many people. So I'm not gonna be super intense about it for this one. In the future, I'm gonna be more prepared and more organized. Try to have like some notes and something else. But for this one, we're not gonna be bothered. We're just gonna jump into it. Um, but yeah, so the whole idea behind this video, I was sitting there thinking about it, and we're currently in the first half. We're currently through the first half of the first month of 2023. And I was thinking about New Year's resolutions and people setting goals and all that stuff. And first of all, for anyone who watches, well, I guess if you watch my content consistently, or if you've listened to some of my previous content, you probably know that I do not like New Year's resolutions. I think they're a waste of time. I think they're garbage. I'm not saying they can't work, but I think for most people, it's just sort of an excuse to procrastinate. And the reason why I say that is because if you really have a goal, if you really want to get something done, you won't sit there at the end of November or October or beginning of December and wait until January 1st to start doing something. If it really meant that much to you, you would just go ahead and do it. So that's why I think New Year's resolutions are kind of garbage, because it's an invalid reason for people to sort of procrastinate and take their time to actually get stuff done. And usually when people have New Year's resolutions, I feel like usually around this time slash early February is when they all fall off and when they stop doing the things they said they were going to do. And that's kind of the motivation behind me making this video. I kind of want to talk about just one thing if you do want to improve yourself in 2023. One thing that I think will, in my opinion, be considered dominating 2023. But so, and that one thing I want to kind of get into is basically taking care of your fitness and actually working on first your physical health, but also your mental health. But more specifically, I'm going to say your physical health is what you should focus on And the reason why I say your physical health is what you should focus on, and the reason why I'm saying that you basically dominate 2023 by focusing on your physical health, if nothing else. Now, obviously, if you're watching this, if you're already like super jacked or super ripped or in super great shape, or you work out consistently, or I got some friends who go to the gym or they do CrossFit like every day, or not every day, like 3 days a week or 4 days a week. Periodically, every morning that they intend to go, like clockwork, they don't miss a session. If you're one of those people that actually do what you're supposed to do when it comes to working out, um, then this isn't the video for you. I'm talking more towards like everybody else, basically. Like I call them the 99 percenters, because I feel like there's some people that do 1% behaviors, and exercising consistently and being in shape and working out to me is a 1% activity. Most people don't do it. Most people can't be bothered to go to the gym consistently and to actually like work out or invest that much into their health. Also, my bad if that gulp was like loud through the microphone. I don't know how to use this. All right, if I'm being honest, I don't know how to use this. I'm doing my best. So don't judge me. I mean, you probably gonna judge me anyway, but I actually don't care. Judge me. I don't care. Do what you want. I'm still gonna do me. I'm still gonna do my YouTube live with my equipment that I don't know how to use. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully you don't hear me like gulping more water because I'm gonna take a sip in a few minutes. Um, but yeah, I call those people like the 99 percenters who don't invest in their own health. And the reason why I'm saying you should start with your health is because it has a trickle down effect. That's my belief. It has a trickle down effect. I've seen so many people, they have like New Year's resolutions or goals, and they try to do like 1,000 different things. And I'm not saying that it's impossible to do a bunch of different things and get them done. Some people are super organized. Some people are able to just multitask effectively, I guess, even though multitasking is not really a thing. No one's really good at it as far as I'm concerned. But I guess there are some people who can kind of juggle multiple different things or kind of organize themselves so they're doing a little bit of every little thing and making progress in multiple different categories. And there's some people that can do that. But I think for the majority of people, they can't. And I think they'd be they'd be best off finding just one thing that can kind of get them to a next level that can help improve their lives in some manner. And fitness to me is that thing that gets it done. So like I said, it has a trickle down effect. And what I mean by that is I think overall your mindset needs to be on point to sort of achieve anything worthwhile in life. If you have any other goals besides fitness, you need to have the sort of a positive mindset, the right mindset to kind of get it done. If you want to increase your income, for example, if you don't believe you can do it, then you won't do it. You won't even attempt to do it. You won't even try. So you have to have a certain mindset to do that. And I think fitness will assist with that. Same thing with like relationships. I've met people who, especially dudes, who like want to go on dates more, or they want to sort of meet more people, more girls, or just have a better social circle in general. But if you believe you can't do it, if you believe that you're not not good with women, or if you believe that no one wants to talk to you, or if you believe that you're not funny, or whatever your limiting beliefs might be, if you continue to have those beliefs, you're going to act upon those beliefs, and you're not actually going to do whatever you need to do to get whatever it is that you want to get. Hopefully that makes sense. But I say fitness is kind of I feel like there's an echo. Either that or this mic is really strong. Like it's really picking up everything. Let me step back a little bit, actually. I mean, just in the middle of the room. I don't know. Um, where was I? But yeah. So yeah, if anything, make a fitness goal. Do that, and you'll be dominating 2023. Because at the very least, if nothing else, if you set a fitness goal and work towards it and stay consistent and put forth actual effort, you're going to be further ahead than you are today. And so I'm trying to think of like the best way I would say to kind of go about it. Me personally, because I say this because back when I was in college, I used to be overweight. Like I used to have problems with my health. I had bad asthma. I had to take sort of these steroids, and the steroids ended up making me gain like a ton of weight, and it definitely led to like self confidence issues, self esteem issues. You kind of look at yourself and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not worthy of this, or I was in that position where you try to like talk to girls and you're just shy and embarrassed. You're like, oh, I can't talk to these girls. I'm fat. Oh, no one's gonna. These girls like they only want like the chads, the super ripped guys or whatever, the frat boys. But I found that if you start lifting weights or if you start at least exercising in some way, you almost train your brain to believe that you can accomplish stuff, and it creates sort of a positive feedback loop. It's almost like positive reinforcement for yourself. And the reason why, one of the other reasons too, I know I'm probably all over the place. Like I said, I'm not organized. I don't have any notes or anything. I'm just kind of giving my 2 cents on this topic. But the reason why I would say fitness over anything else, because some people might think, okay, well, what if I try to make more money this year? Maybe that'll make the year best. And it could if you can manage to pull that off. But I think in the grand scheme of things, fitness is where everything should begin. And I think by like just managing your fitness, you ultimately increase your confidence, you increase your self-esteem. um, People perceive you much better. In my experience, at least, when you're in better shape, people perceive you a lot better. And there's sort of this thing called the halo effect. I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but there's this thing called the halo effect. And what people do, I can't. Okay. And what people do is they attribute positive attributes to people that look a certain way. There was this old video actually, it's from like years ago. There was this bodybuilder. His name's I don't know what the title of the video is called. There was this bodybuilder and this the guy that actually had the channel. They both did this social experiment. One was pretending to be homeless, and the other one was pretending to be rich. And the rich guy, of course, was the bodybuilder. And the experiment was to see how people perceive you they would go to like ask people for money because they claim that they left their wallet at home. And the bodybuilder gets out this like Lamborghini. He's ripped, of course, huge. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I left my wallet at home. Oh, I need someone to help me. I'm trying to get baby formula for my kid." And most people, even though clearly he was obviously rich, they still gave him money. And then the other guy, the homeless guy, you would think they would be more, I guess, sympathetic and empathetic, maybe more sympathetic to his position, and then give him money. And funny enough, he would ask for money, and all of them would kind of berate him and say he should get a job and just treat him like crap. And the whole idea behind it was that they were treating the bodybuilder looking guy, he's a bodybuilder, but for the sake of the video, he was just a rich dad who was happened to be jacked. The idea behind the video is that they're treating him much better because he looked better. He was more physically appealing, more physically attractive. And sort of that halo effect came into play. And even though he was rich, he didn't need the money technically because he could have just drove home and got his wallet. He claims he left his wallet. He could have just gone home and get it. But people were still willing to give him money, even though he didn't need money. Compared to the homeless guy, even though he actually did need money in this scenario, people were far more unwilling to give him anything just because he looked disheveled. He didn't look attractive, in a general sense. Um, so if nothing else, if you're struggling like with your goals, or if you have resolutions and you can't, you kind of go year after year, you're not really breaking ground or you're not doing anything productive each year, nothing substantial. I would say if nothing else, getting into better shape is going to change. It's going to change your mindset. It'll change your physique, which will change the way people perceive you, which will change the way people treat you, and that creates that loop. So it'll make you feel better about yourself. So then it makes you want to keep working out more because you want to get more of that positive feedback. Um, and like I said, I think that trickles down to everything else. I think if you, for example, if you're the kind of dude that wants to, and I'm saying dude because this channel is targeting more towards men, if you're the kind of dude that wants to talk to more girls, you probably would have a better chance of doing it if you looked better. At the very least, you'd feel like doing it more if you looked better. you'd feel a lot more confident or a lot more attractive in your own skin, so to speak. Same thing I would say goes with trying to make more money. If you do like sales or even if you're trying to like apply for a job or something like that, I think being in better shape and looking more kempt and more presentable, people are gonna look at you and attach better attributes to you. I truly imagine if there were two people that walked to a job interview, all things were the exact same on their resume. One guy walks in, he's in super great shape, has a suit on. Suit is, the shirt is pressed nicely. Let's say he goes in, and let's say he's not the most charismatic dude, or let's say he fumbles over a lot of the questions, or maybe even his resume isn't even as good as the other applicant. Other applicant is sloppy, overweight. Maybe he's relatively charming, but he looks a bit gross. I would almost be willing to bet that the better looking dude, despite not having the credentials, would still get the job position, kind of just because of that halo effect I mentioned earlier. He just looks like he'd be better in this position. Therefore, the people interviewing him are more likely to give him the position. I'm not saying that would 100% happen. I'm almost willing to bet, though, in most situations, that's probably what would happen. They'd probably look at him and already kind of make their decision simply based on appearance, um, rather than just pure credentials or pure merit or anything like that. But yeah, one thing too, I've seen in the past people. One thing I want to bring up: don't make the goal too extreme. I've seen that happen a lot. I remember years ago, I had a friend, and she was a bit overweight. And she wanted to kind of create a fitness goal because I gave that same advice. I was like, you should, if you want to do something, if you want to create some progression, I think fitness is probably the easiest place to start. It's 100% within your control. You can do a workout basically anywhere, and you don't really need equipment. And for money, you might need. There's other variables involved. Like if you want to take a better job, the job market could hurt your opportunities. It could make things at least slower or a bit more difficult. So it's not 100% your control. If your skill set's not there, I guess that's kind of within your control. But different skills are more valuable depending on the economy, depending on where you live, depending on what you apply to. Um, so I think there's a bit more control when you're just trying to exercise, when you're just trying to get in shape, because you really don't have anything else holding you back or stopping you besides yourself, any actions and effort that you put out there. So she set this big goal. She was like, "Yeah, I'm going to work out. I'm going to try to get in better shape." And I was like, "Well, what's your goal?" She was like, "Oh, I'm going to try to run like a 5K by the end of or by the beginning of March or something like that, something crazy." And I was like, "Have you when's the last time you've sprinted or like even ran or jogged or worked out anything?" And she was like, "Oh, well, I haven't really she's like, I used to be in the track team on the track team when I was in high school." I was like, "High school? This is back when we were in college." And I was like, "So it's been at least like 3 years or so since you ran at all, like at all." And she was like, "Yeah, but I think I can do it by the end of like February or early March." And I was like, "What? There's no way you're gonna go from 3 years never actually working out to running a 5K." And I was like, I think what people do, and I've seen this happen a lot too. A lot of people have like the motivation at first and they get started. And for that first, like maybe week or first few days, they get excited about it. And they think they're going to like keep that excitement up until whatever their deadline or target date is. And it doesn't happen. And they usually always burn out or they get frustrated because they're not making the progress they want to make or whatever it is. This mic is super strong. It picks up everything. Jesus. Turn this down. Testing. All right, I think that's better. Yeah, it picks up everything. God. But now I can't hear myself. But yeah, what was I saying? But she tried to go too far to the extreme. And my thing is, if you're trying to start a goal like that, don't make it overcomplicated. Just keep it simple. Like I always tell people because I've had people reach out and they're like, "Yeah, I'm trying to work out more. How do I make it into a habit?" And I was like, the best thing you can do is not even make the habit working out initially. Just make the habit showing up. Like if you're trying to, and depending on what you want to do, I personally recommend. I think weights are a bit more fun than body weight exercises, calisthenics. To each their own. See, now I can't hear anything on this. I'm struggling with this technology. I feel like an old man. All right. But yeah, to each their own. Some people like body weight calisthenics more. I don't. I like lifting weights at the gym. There's something about being around people lifting. You get, I don't know, it's like you absorb their energy almost. Like you just feel their energy and it makes you more motivated to lift. Like I struggle to lift by myself and definitely struggle to do body weight stuff. It's just not fun. It's not appealing. It's not exciting. I can't, it's hard for me to even be disciplined with it, um, which is a personal problem. But whatever you choose to do, if you choose to say to lift weights, for example, I've told people in the past, the best thing you can do is just show up. Like make the goal to go 3 days a week for a month and don't even be so concerned about actually working out. Like if you don't pick up a weight in the whole month, but you at least went to the gym, that's good enough. And I tell people sometimes too, don't even worry about going in the gym. Make the goal to go, like physically go to the gym itself, like the exterior of the gym. And the reason why I say this is because by the time you get to the parking lot, by the time you get up, put on your gym clothes, drive to the gym, get to the parking lot, I would argue that most people aren't going to sit there and go, you know what? Oh, I don't feel like going in. I've driven here, but I don't feel like going in. Most people aren't going to do that. They're going to be like, well, I'm here, so I might as well at least try to go in and at least try to work out. And then they go in, and this always happens. Even me, so a lot of times I don't even feel like going to the gym. Sometimes I hate going. I shouldn't say hate. That's a strong word. I don't really hate it, but I just don't feel motivated to go. But during those days when I don't feel motivated and I do go, you find that by the time you start doing like one workout or two workouts or whatever, you kind of get into a good flow and you kind of start to get yourself motivated and you start to enjoy the workout. And it just, I don't know, the whole idea of it not being motivating goes away and you suddenly start to enjoy it. And and then you just get it done. And then you're glad because you actually showed up and you're happy you didn't like defeat yourself ahead of time, if that makes sense. So I usually tell people that, like, just show up, just get to the parking lot. By the time you get to the parking lot, by the time you put in your clothes, by the time you're there, you're gonna go inside. And then by the time you go inside, you're at least gonna dabble with something. You're gonna at least run on the treadmill a little bit, even if it's like a walk, or you're gonna at least pick up a weight, even if it's like the barbell, nothing else, no weights, just the barbell, or even if you pick up a dumbbell you're gonna try something, and then by the time you try one thing, it's gonna lead into it's gonna escalate into you actually just doing the workout as you intended, and then you're gonna be happy because you got it done, and then ultimately you'll create a habit once you start to do that more often. Um, but that's usually what I recommend, and that's kind of why I say start with fitness too, because by the time you start doing that and you start being consistent and start building a habit, you're gonna realize that that mindset starts to apply to everything else that you want to do. If you have any other projects you want to do, you eventually start to realize that a lot of projects just come down. A lot of projects and skills that you want to acquire are just reps and sets, in my opinion, at least. Um, Same concept as gym. You want to get bigger muscles. What is it? Reps and sets. You just got to do it consistently, and over time, you'll get better at it. And then as you get better at it, as you do it consistently, then the muscle builds. Then it stops being as difficult, and then you need to challenge yourself a bit more, and that is called progressive overload. But maybe I'll save that for a different video. Um, Same thing with anything else, though. If you want to build a skill, say you want to do web design, recently I've been trying to get better at web design myself. What is it? Reps and sets. The first time you try to design a website, it's gonna look like shit. It's gonna look like trash. It's not gonna have any. It's not gonna be coordinated. The font's gonna be all over the place. The colors are gonna look horrible because you don't have any idea of color theory, anything like that. The layout's gonna suck because you don't understand that it needs to look a certain way on desktop versus the pad versus mobile. It's just gonna be all over the place. And over time, you start doing it more and more. You learn a little bit more. You kind of tweak certain things, you tighten up your skills, and then you put in the reps and sets, and then over time you get a lot better. And but yeah, that's recently kind of what happened with me. I've been trying to learn web design, and my web design sucked. And it's not fantastic now, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And now I can actually look at something I made and not think it's trashed. um, but yeah, so like I said, I think everything starts with. I think if you start with that, if you make fitness the goal and you stay consistent with it, and like really set an objective and measurable goal, I think by doing that you'll dominate 2023. Because at nothing else, at the very least, at the end of the year, you can at least say, "Oh, I'm in shape." Like nothing else happened right, but at least I'm in shape. At least I lost weight, or at least I gained muscle. Whatever is your goal, whatever your goal is, at least at the end of the year, if nothing else, you can say you did that. And that's 100% in your control. Doesn't matter what the economy is, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter what the people around you, none of that matters. It's 100% in your control. So that is my suggestion. Sort of the whole idea behind this live stream. Just start with that one thing. And yeah, if nothing else, get in better shape this year. It'll at least be something objective and concrete that you can look at the end of the year and say that you've accomplished. Let me know if you need help with anything too. I don't think I have any workout routines on my website, but in my newsletter, I usually make my own workout routines, and I have a bunch that I've made in the past. I've sold some in the past. So if you're interested, join the newsletter and shoot me an email. I'll send you one for free. I don't really. Some people give me money if I make one for them. I don't technically sell them, not like professionally, of course. But if you want one, just let me know, and I'll send one to you. But don't make it complicated. A few push-ups, like a few push-ups every day, some sit-ups, body weight squats. That's really all you need. If you can get access to a bar at a playground or at a local Planet Fitness or something, do some pull-ups. Don't make fitness and working out super complicated. I don't think it needs to be. I think a lot of these YouTubers and fitness people and gurus, they start going too deep into the weeds with all like the nuance. And that's fine for people who are like trying to be more technical and if you're trying to like bodybuild and stuff like that. I think for most people, that's not their goal. Their goal is just to feel better and look better. Keep it simple. Just do body weight exercises and you'll be all right. As long as you stay consistent, have a relatively good diet. But that's a whole different video. I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, join the newsletter if you're interested. If you have any questions, hit me up and I'll help you with them. But that is it for this video. Like I said, next time I'm going to try to be a lot more organized and give a lot more content. But yeah, peace out.